I think that wraps it up, so it's time for questions.
Okay, thank you. I do have a few questions for you. If the patient is a vegetarian, is it a good idea to use all plant protein powder to substitute meats? How many ounces of protein powder equal 1 portion of protein?
And okay, they could use protein powders. I mean, there's a lot of them available on the market. There are some, I like the ones that have a combination of a couple different sources of protein. There's some out there that are like rice protein, pea protein, hemp protein, soy protein combo or something like that, just so we can make sure we have a balance in the amino acids. You can email me privately and I can give you some brands. How many ounces of protein powder equals 1 portion of protein? Just look on the label. 7 ounces of protein would equal 1 ounce of meat. If they are vegan, they can use tempeh or tofu or seitan. There's a bunch of different vegan meat substitutes. If they're vegetarian, they still have eggs and cheese. Of course, vegans would also have nuts and seeds. And Greek yogurt, if they're not really into cheese or cottage cheese, if you get a plain container of Greek yogurt, the carbs are only about 8 or so grams, and it has almost 20 grams of protein. That's a lot. It's like 3 eggs worth of protein. So I encourage Greek yogurt if they're willing to do dairy, because oftentimes they will be consuming a lot more carbohydrates if they're trying to meet their protein needs just with beans and legumes.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, but I think we can still keep going. Here you go.
I saw the other one on the low glycemic diet, so I'll go ahead and answer that. It's diabetes care. Let me pull it up. The title was, Can a low glycemic index diet reduce the need for insulin in gestational diabetes mellitus? A randomized controlled trial. It was published in March of 2009 in Diabetes Care.
Thank you. Where did the data of ADI for sweeteners come from?
You can find this information in the American Diet or the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Evidence Analysis Library. It's the basic ADI table for that you find anywhere. We didn't make up any of the data. I don't know if that answers the question well enough, but if you Google ADI for sweeteners, you'll find the similar tables.
Thank you.
And the approval of stevia, you can find that on the FDA's website. Slide 8 again. Let me go back to slide 8 in my PowerPoint so I can see what you're referring to. I don't know if you want to put my screen up again. It was to consume 3 small meals and 3 snacks, eaten a few hours apart, have a consistent schedule, avoid more than 10 hours between the bedtime snack and breakfast, synchronize the meals and snacks with medications or insulin, and to keep food records. You'll have these available as handouts as well. And these recommendations are all available in on c.sweetsuccess.org in the Guidelines for Care. They're also reiterated on that California My Plate for Gestational Diabetes handout, also available for free on c.sweetsuccess.org.
Yes, correct on all of the above. Okay, next one, stevia. Is it 1 little packet per serving and 26 packets per pregnancy?
Let me go back to the slide. It would generally be considered, yes, 1 packet per serving. Yes, and 26 packets per person per day would be considered safe. Do I recommend that? No, that's a lot. I usually recommend, even though we know those are the safety margins, I recommend maybe 2 or 3 servings of the artificial sweeteners per day. I'm not sure about stevia, but with some of the other artificial sweeteners, there's research to show it stimulates the release of insulin. So, the body is thinking that you're getting something sweet, and the blood sugar's up, but it's actually not. Your taste buds are tricking you. So I don't really push artificial sweeteners on them, but I provide that information so they know that it's safe if they want to have a treat. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you, it does. Let's see, we have been told in the past to recommend patients not to consume saccharin because it crosses the placenta. Can you recommend research that makes reference to the safety of saccharin?
Yes, actually the American Medical Association changed their stance on saccharin a few years back, so our recommendations reflect that. You'll find this information also in the evidence analysis library of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. I think actually the handouts that I use still say no saccharin, which is probably bad because it's not updated information, but so few women use saccharin that I don't really worry about it too much, but technically they say it's safe now, so I don't know if that's helpful. Most women don't like it. They usually prefer the Splenda or stevia in my experience anyways.
Thank you. What about Kegels? Where do you
Kegels.
incorporate these in the counseling sessions?
Well, we have some handouts from CPSP, the California Comprehensive Perinatal Services Program. It's a California program that has a bunch of educational handouts for women. You can actually access that online as well. Look up, I usually access it from lacounty.gov and look up CPSP. And there's some links for information to providers, and they have a packet of handouts called Steps to Take, and they include a bunch of links to, or there's one giant document, it's a few hundred pages, that has education materials in English and Spanish, and there's some that talk about Kegels. Do I even have time to discuss Kegels with women? Not usually, and since it doesn't have much of a role in glycemic control, I'll usually just mention it. I don't spend much time on it. I'll mention it if the woman is complaining of a lot of pressure in her sort of lower pelvic region, especially when they're further along and the hips are starting to spread a little bit. But it's kind of incorporated when I discuss pulling in their abdominal muscles to hold the baby in close. That activates their transverse abdominis, which is like your corset muscles, so to speak. Oftentimes when they're doing that and thinking of pulling their belly button in and up, it helps to activate the pelvic floor naturally, so I don't spend a whole lot of time talking about Kegels, and if they have questions, I just refer them to the CPSP handout.
Thank you. Are the ACOG exercises available if you are not a member?
Yes. Google ACOG prenatal exercise. There's a couple links that'll come up, and the information is, I think they're downloadable PDFs, so you can print them out and use them. I'm not a member of ACOG, and I have access.
No, thank you. For traveling with insulin, do patients need a doctor's note to get on international flights?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Well, that would be one for us to research and let everybody know.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Okay, I'll make a note and see what I can find out.
Great.
Okay, we have a few questions that didn't make it onto the slide, so let me read those to you.
Sure.
Can you repeat the number of grams of protein for one serving?
7 grams of protein is equivalent to 1 ounce. And 1 ounce is considered a serving. So when we say we recommend at least 7 ounces of protein, or 7 servings of protein per day, that would be 7 times 7, which would be 49 grams total. Please make note that during pregnancy, a lot of places will say recommend 70 grams of protein. So I often go higher than, I often do use 70 as my goal, so my ladies have a couple extra servings of protein per day. But if they're very tiny, you know, a woman who's 57 inches tall, under 5 feet, I question if they really need 70 grams of protein. So I use 1.1 grams per kilogram of their preconception weight.